Uzbekistan. For about 70 years, it was one of the 15 republics of the USSR, the most populous in Central Asia, a complex mixing pot of the entire region and beyond. Only about 10% of the land is irrigated, in the river valleys and oases that host its largest cities and most of the population. Outside of these urban areas, livestock farming is a major economic sector in Uzbekistan. At present, more than 90% of livestock is raised by smallholder farmers, which produce the majority of the country's meat and dairy supply. This growing sector needs to be managed and its environmental impact taken into account. Most smallholder farmers do not have consistent and secure access to pasture land, resulting in unsystematic and illegal use of pastures, made worse by a changing climate and competition from the global market, without the benefit of the technical tools commonly used by livestock farmers in the global north. To address this challenge, Karakoram's team was invited to Uzbekistan by the United Nations Development Program in August 2021 in order to run a 5-day workshop designed by Google Ventures called a Sprint. This workshop, designed to kickstart big ideas, led us to the early development of a future precision livestock farming platform for low and middle-income countries. A sprint compresses months of work into a few days of effective, creative collaboration between end users, key stakeholders, and the sprint team. We align everyone's vision and deliver results quickly while de-risking large and complex developmental challenges. Within 5 days, the team moves from nothing other than a large challenge to solve, then proceeds to do user research and problem mapping on Monday, sketching solutions on Tuesday, picking a solution to prototype on Wednesday, building this prototype using mock-ups, low-code solutions, and open-source hardware on Thursday, and testing the results with end users on Friday. Our sprint team was comprised of a joint UNDP Karakoram group, a mix of engineers, product specialists, livestock subject matter experts, developers, and strategists. This eclectic mix of coders and non-coders, designers and non-designers, UN experts, and people with no experience in development gave our team the diversity of background to ideate freely and shoot for the moon. We know we can't solve the problem in 5 days, and if we had more time, sure, we might be able to do more, in weeks, months, years, or decades. But we also believe there are diminishing returns to this when kickstarting a project. By working within restrictive budgets and restrictive time constraints, we are often the most creative. 5 days, believe it or not, is enough time to get viable information on a direction and gain traction towards a solution. Monday, August 23rd, 2021. The first day of the sprint is often one of the hardest, with new team members working together for the first time. There is a need to come together quickly and trust the process. After a 90-minute drive from the capital city of Tashkent, we arrive in the mountain farming district of Akungaran in order to meet Abduvali Holtareyev, a livestock farmer and farm manager who agreed to work with the UNDP Karakoram sprint team. Abduvali's farm of 15,000 sheep, goats, and horses was dramatically impacted by the changing climate. The traditional methods for finding feed and water for his animals were failing year on year due to a lack of rain and resulting desertification. It became clear to us that Abduvali was fiercely interested in, but deprived of, basic data about his land and animals, the type of information that is easily available through open-source satellite data and through simple on-the-ground sensors. Basic data points, taken for granted by Western livestock farmers like the location of animals, current grass height, groundwater saturation, and plant growth over time, felt impossible and out of reach to Abduvali and his team of shepherds. If he had access to this data, Abduvali felt that he would allow his team to monitor the location of their animals more accurately, as well as increase their access to feed, leading to better animal product yield and ultimately more profit for their work. Although they admitted they were unfamiliar with most technical tools and had low cellular connectivity in their rugged mountain farm. Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. Day 2 of the sprint focuses on detailing the problem with key stakeholders in the Uzbekistan government, including the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Innovation, State Committee for Livestock, and many others who joined the sprint team as guests for the day. The first challenge to solve was clarifying as a group how we jointly defined sustainability, as well as agreeing on user personas and pain points for livestock farmers. The sprint team discussed the environmental, technical, and operational limitations that these farmers faced, including those around limited technical knowledge, low connectivity, lack of funding, and rugged terrains that are not easy to map or measure using sensors. As a group, we next take these pain points and reframe them into something positive we can solve, actual opportunities. Dozens of them, all important and too many to solve. Picking a focus is often a challenge, even for developmental experts who do this for a living. To pick, we vote. Everyone in the room gets 2 red dots, which everyone places on top of the challenge statements they found the most compelling, important, and solvable. At last, we had our challenge statement. How might we use existing modern technology to obtain more accurate land and animal information?
Yani 1 milyon ortiq yerimiz bor. Buni hozirgi kunda o'sha to'g'ri foydalanish, o'sha yaylov yerlarimizdan uni boshqarish bugun o'sha aktual masalalardan bittasi hisoblanadi. Shuning uchun hozir o'tkazilgan mana shu seminar bizga bir bu yo'l bo'lib xizmat qiladi. Keyin yana bitta muhim masalasi o'sha sizlarning masalan shu Karakoram kompaniyasi bu axborot texnologiyalaridan foydalanadi. Shu yangi tizimni ishlab chiqaradi. Bizning bitta taklifimiz bor. O'zbekistonda bizda yaylov yerlaridan foydalanishda o'sha kosmik suratlardan foydalanish, remote sensing deydi. Foydalanish o'sha yerda axborot tizimlaridan qo'llash. Birinchi navbatda bu biz o'sha joyda yaylovning ekin turlarini aniqlashimiz kerak. Ya'ni joyga chiqmasdan turib holatda u yerdagi o'sha yaylov o'simliklarini massasini aniqlashimiz kerakki, bu bizga ertaga fermerlarimizga juda katta yordam bo'ladiki, ular qanchalik o'sha yerda yaylovda chorva mol boqsa bo'ladi yoki o'sha joyda qanchalik uzoq masofada joylashgan yoki yaqin masofada joylashgan, uni infratuzilmasini biz o'sha kosmik ma'lumotlar yordamida o'sha fermerlarimizga yordam bergan bo'lamiz. Bu sizlarning bizlar tomonidan katta ko'rsatgan yordamlarimiz bo'ladi.
Loyihalarni amalga oshirgan uchun katta rahmat. Vaqt ajratib, shunaqa o'ylaymizki, bu loyihani natijasi Xudo xolasa respublikamiz uchun yoki umumiy yaylovlarimiz uchun qaysidir ma'noda yaxshilash uchun xizmat qiladi degan umiddamiz. Bizning tashkilotimiz ham UNDP loyiha tashkilotimiz yaylovlar geobotanikasi bo'yicha shug'ullanamiz. Balki birgalikda loyiha doirasida hamkorlikda ishlashimiz ham mumkin. Agar hamkorlikda ishlash taklifini beramiz, xohlasalaringiz birgalikda ishlashimiz ham mumkin. Avvalo katta rahmat. Biz tayyormiz har doim birga ishlashga.
Wednesday, August 25th, 2021. Armed with our agreed challenge statements, user personas, and definitions of sustainability, we were ready to start thinking about solutions and picking one to prototype. Farmers generally only used low-cost mobile phones with poor connectivity, and the only platform they seemed comfortable with were chat applications, primarily Telegram. A key finding from Monday was that Telegram was actually the primary way that Uzbeks had received information from the government about COVID-19, and was now a trusted way to communicate, not only with friends, but also with the government. Conveniently, Telegram was also primarily designed for areas of extreme low connectivity, and generally used by the majority of the population. The sprint team began sketching a rough idea for a Telegram chatbot which would combine basic AI chat capabilities with both satellite and IoT ground sensor data in order to give farmers the information they asked for on Monday in a chat-based format. We imagined a scenario where perhaps a suite of long-distance 2G or LoRa-based IoT precision livestock farming sensors could be deployed across a farm, overlaid on top of basic satellite data provided by FAO and Google. Our hypothesis was that this could allow the farmers to ask Telegram where their animals are currently grazing, determine if they are in the correct location, and automatically be notified about health and feed requirements, even passing land and animal information onwards to the government if needed to combat desertification. Thursday, August 26, 2021. Prototype Day. The day when all hands are on deck to hack, fake, and engineer a realistic enough version of our concept for actual user feedback. The pressure to do this is immense, and Thursday is often the day when cracks start to form amongst the team. Everyone is pushed to their limit, as the team often has very different ideas about how to prototype a solution, with no one either right or wrong. The sprint team had to divide and conquer, splitting into 3 teams, each focusing on a different part of the prototype. One team built a no-code but highly realistic chatbot demo which could mimic the interactions and questions that the future product would ask. A second team focused on using open source hardware to build a low-connectivity IoT GPS tracker that would locate farm animals. While a third team built a fully functional but basic Telegram chatbot, which would respond to queries about animal location and offer open source satellite data about their position in relation to groundwater, grass growth, and other key datasets. Working late into the night, the team struggled, but was able to complete a sprint-level working prototype for all 3 critical components of the demo by 11 p.m., with enough time for a few hours of sleep before Friday's all-important demo. Friday, August 27th, 2021. As day 5 of the product design sprint dawns, anticipation is high as we return to Karakoram. It was time to test our prototype and to learn which ideas worked and which didn't. Friday is entirely about validation and real user feedback. We never guarantee that we found a solution in 5 days, but can promise that we'll have clear direction and momentum. It's pretty uncommon for everything to work perfectly on demo day, as we're operating with pretty rough prototypes. The goal is simply to have our work to the point where the end user feel that what we've built is real. Holding our collective breath, the sprint team worked with the farm shepherds to safely attach our prototype sensors to a goat, connecting our prototype chatbot demos, and sit down nearby with Abduvali, the farm manager. With the sensors attached to the animals and the chatbot working, there was nothing left to do but sit and wait for feedback. Intuitively understanding how the chatbot worked, Abduvali was quick to comment how happy he was to use Telegram to have a better understanding of his land and animals, as well as to be given satellite data that would dramatically help him farm more sustainably. In building the world's first IoT-enabled chatbot for Telegram, the joint Karakoram UNDP sprint team may have stumbled onto a concept that would have impact at scale, not only across Uzbekistan, but in many low and middle-income countries. Karakoram's field-based sprints allow us to focus on challenges from the bottom up, speaking with actual end users and identifying the challenge, not as we see it, but as it really is. It's not all about beautiful buildings in far-flung locations, stunning spaces, and interviews with people from different cultures. It's an opportunity to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, if even for a short time. By the end of the week, if we've done it right, everyone is tired, a little sick of each other, but hopefully proud of what we've built. As the team departed from Uzbekistan, the entire sprint team knew that there was a huge amount left to do. A sprint is not designed to solve any problem, but if run correctly, there will be a clear list of what to do next and huge momentum for continued development of the solution. This was not the end of something, but the start.